and welcome to the Blindfold Chess Podcast.
This week, we are looking at the youngest grandmaster in Philippine history, a man who emigrated to the United States after being left by his family at the age of 16, someone who climbed to number 2 in the world and is a World Fischer Random Champion, Wesley So. Wesley was born in the Philippines in 1993. He learned how to play chess around the age of 7 when his dad taught him how to play. Soon, he began defeating his father and began to play neighborhood children and adults. In a Chess.com interview, he said, quote, "Chess is very popular in the Philippines. Chess is a poor man's game. Rich people play tennis, polo, and golf, while poor people play chess because you don't need anything. No uniform, no field, or courts. Children don't need money to play chess. People make the pieces out of bottle caps or whatever materials they have. So every week, I would cut newspaper clippings from famous grandmaster games, study them, and then I'd go from street to street with a makeshift board, challenging anyone who knows how to play." End quote. At the age of 9, he began playing in local tournaments, and the next year he won the Under-10 championship title in the Philippines and earned his right to play in the World Youth Under-10 Championship in Greece. At the age of 14 years and 28 days, he earned his grandmaster title. At the time, it was the 7th fastest in history, as well as the first Filipinian grandmaster. Shortly after that, he became the strongest player in the Philippines. The next year, in 2008, he broke the 2600 rating barrier, breaking Magnus Carlsen's record for the youngest player to do so. By the time Wesley was 16, he was in the top 100 players in the world. It was also around this time that Wesley began to grow estranged from his parents. At the age of 16, his biological family emigrated to Canada, leaving him in the Philippines. He squatted in an apartment owned by the Philippines Chess Federation, but it often did not have electricity, and there was also infighting inside of the federation. In that same Chess.com interview, he recalled winning the Summer Unisade tournament, bringing home the Philippines' first ever gold. But both chess federations were fighting over the recognition and the reward. As a result, his accomplishment was never fully recognized, and he never got his prize. His win at that event helped him earn a scholarship to Webster University in St. Louis, Missouri, and he took that as an opportunity to get out of the Philippines. In 2013, he helped lead Webster University to a national collegiate chess championship with fellow grandmaster Ray Robson on his team. He repeated as collegiate champion again in 2014. Also in 2014, he went to a dinner party in Minnesota where he was introduced to Lotus Key and Bobby Kabating. Wesley at the time was in the top 30 players in the world and wanted to try playing chess full-time, but he wasn't sure he was good enough. Lotus encouraged him to give it 2 years to try and see how it worked out. So, in 2014, he took the plunge by dropping out of university. He changed his affiliation from the Philippines to the United States and won the inaugural Millionaire Open. Lotus and Bambi also formally adopted Wesley into their family. Not only is it a nice gesture, but it also helped establish him a permanent residency in the United States, so he did not have to go back to the Philippines. In an interview with Chess.com, he said, quote, "Having that support has made a huge difference in my chess. Literally all players in the top 20 have family behind them." End quote. Since making that decision to go full-time, he has not relented. In 2015, he played in the Bilbao Chess Masters Final, defeating Anish Giri in a blitz playoff to win the event. In 2016, he played in the 42nd Chess Olympiad for Team USA. He played alongside Fabiano Caruana, Hikaru Nakamura, Sam Shanklin, and his former collegiate teammate Ray Robson as they took home the gold medal in the event, which was the first time that America has won the event since 1976. Wesley also collected an individual gold on board 3 for his performance with a 28.96 performance rating. In 2016, he also won the Sinkfield Cup and the London Chess Classic, both featuring several top 10 players in the world, to win the Grand Chess Tour by an absurd 11.5 points. The distance between his first place finish and second place was the same distance as second to seventh place, netting Wesley a $295,000 prize. His final achievement in 2016 was breaking the 2800 rating barrier, becoming the 11th player in history to do so. At the start of 2017, he won the Tata Steel Masters tournament, playing alongside Carlsen, Aronian, Wei Yi, Jan Nepomniachtchi, and other very strong players. Later in the year, he also competed in his first United States Championship, where he won first place after defeating Alexander Onashuk in a playoff to collect his first U.S. Chess Championship title. At the same time, he was the second highest rated player on the planet and the fifth highest rated player in history with a 28.22 rating, a rating that helped him qualify for the 2018 Candidates Tournament. His performance at that tournament was shaky. He finished in 7th out of 8, and in that interview with Chess.com, he said, quote, "I was rattled by all the expectations because people kept telling me, this is a big chance for you, don't mess it up. And of course, that's exactly what I did." End quote. Not to be deterred, in 2019, FIDE announced the first official World Fischer Random Chess Championship, where anyone in the world who was interested could participate in the tournament. Going into groups of 32 players, they would play 9 rounds, with the top 5 of each grouping advancing to round 2. In round 2, there were 12 people that would play across 9 rounds, with the top 7 of each group advancing. And then in round 3, there were 6 groups of 16 people in a single elimination knockout style event, with the 6 remaining players advancing to the quarterfinals. Wesley made it through that gauntlet, but lost to Hikaru Nakamura on day 1, then defeated Peter Svidler on day 2, and defeated Vladimir Fedosov on day 3 to advance to the top 4 players. Awaiting him was Jan Nepomniachtchi, who so soundly defeated 13-5 to advance to the championship match against Magnus Carlsen. In that championship match, Wesley demolished the world champion 13.5 to 2.5 to become the first official Fischer Random World Champion. The next year, in 2020, there was an online version of the U.S. Chess Championship, where Wesley collected his second victory with a performance rating of 28.94. He also won the Skilling Open at the end of the year, taking home a $30,000 prize. In February of 2021, he officially became a U.S. citizen and celebrated by winning his third U.S. Chess Championship title after winning a playoff game against Fabio Caruana and Sam Sevian. Rattling off a couple more major tournament victories over the last couple of years. In 2021, he won the Opera Euro Rapid event, the Paris Rapid and Blitz tournament, and took home first at the Grand Chess Tour with a $240,000 prize. In 2022, he won the Chess.com Global Chess Championship. He collected second on tiebreaks at the Superbet Chess Classic and took home second in the Grand Chess Tour for an almost $200,000 prize. In 2023, he was again second at the Superbet Chess Classic, third at the Sinkfield Cup, and won third at the Grand Chess Tour. In 2024, he played for Team USA at the Olympiad, taking home the team silver medal. And just last year, he won the Sinkfield Cup after defeating Caruana and Pragnananda on tiebreaks for a $77,000 prize. Wesley's story is so unique and inspiring that Chess.com created a documentary that you can find on YouTube. I have no doubt that the decision to leave his country and to play professionally by dropping out of college were monumental decisions, but it has worked fantastic for the Super GM. For our game today, we are going to go back to the U.S. Chess Championship of 2016. Wesley So versus Varuzhan Akobian. Now, if we're ready, let's begin.
One, pawn to e4. Pawn to e6. Two, pawn to d4. Pawn to d5. Three, knight c3. Pawn d captures e4. Four, knight captures e4. Knight d7. Five, knight f3. Knight g to f6. Six, knight captures f6 check. Knight captures f6. Seven, pawn to c3.
This is the French defense Rubinstein variation Kasparov attack. White has a pretty harmonious setup with c3 supporting the d4 pawn and their light square bishop having several options. Black got rid of their potentially redundant knights and has a chance to attack the center with either c5 or e5.
Pawn to c5. Eight, bishop e3. Pawn c captures d4. Nine, bishop captures d4. Bishop e7. Ten, bishop d3. Castle kingside. 11, queen c2. Pawn to h6. Twelve, castle queenside. Queen a5. Thirteen, king b1. Rook d8. Fourteen, knight e5. Bishop d7. Fifteen, queen e2. Bishop c6. 16. Rook h to e1.
What is White's idea behind playing rook h to e1? White is sensing an opportunity by sacrificing the knight that is on f7. In doing that, the e6 pawn will be weak and potentially the bishop that is on e7.
Bishop d5. (17) Pawn to c4. Bishop captures g2.
In opposite side castling setups like we have, sometimes you wish for the pawns on the A, B, G, and H file would just disappear to open more lines for attack. So White does lose a pawn, but now the open G file will provide attacking opportunities.
(18) Bishop c3. Queen b6. (19) Rook g1. Bishop c6. (20) Knight captures f7.
Of all of the options that White had in this position, why did Wesley decide to go for this particular line? By capturing on f7, White is making the e6 and g7 pawns weak, while also pulling the king into the position, making it more exposed. All of those hooked up together make it a recipe for a combination.
King captures f7. (21) Rook captures g7 check. King captures g7. (22) Queen captures e6. Queen captures f2.
Why did Black play queen captures on f2 instead of defending their loose bishop that is on e7? It is true that Black is giving up the bishop that is on e7, but in Black's mind, preventing White from playing rook to g1 check is a higher level threat. The queen on f2 also protects the knight that is on f6.
(23) Queen captures e7 check. King g8. (24) Bishop h7 check. Black resigns.
Why did Black resign in this position? Black is in a bit of a hurting spot here. If they play knight captures on h7, white has queen to g7 checkmate. Otherwise, their only other legal move is king to h8. After which, white can play rook captures on d8 check. Black would play rook captures on d8. Then white can play bishop captures on f6 check, with black's only legal move being queen captures on f6. White captures that queen on f6 with check. Black could play king captures on h7, and then white will pick up the free rook that is on d8, leaving white ahead a full queen versus a black bishop. Growing up in relative poverty, rising through the Philippine chess system, moving to the United States to immediately become a national collegiate champion, dropping out of college to pursue chess full-time, winning the World Fischer Random Championship, playing in the candidates tournament, and winning gold in the chess Olympiad, as well as performing consistently well in many high-level, high-pressure tournaments, Wesley So is a marvel and an inspiration for the chess community. So that is all that we have for this week. Tune in next time, where we will continue to work on our blindfold skills and look at another game of the Masters.